Welcome to Shawn and Carter Have a Podcast. My name is Shawn,
And I'm Carter.
and we've gotten in the habit of skipping weeks. What's up
We
with
were on
that?
hi Yeah, we were on hiatus, but now we're back.
And next week's Christmas, so what are we going to do?
A very special Shawn and Carter have a podcast.
Where we say, Happy Holidays! We'll see you next year. Bye.
Happy holidays. Yeah, well, we got Christmas coming up and we got New Year's. But actually for me, I mean, like perversely for me, I'm more free during the holidays.
Oh my god, I'm not.
Yeah,
I
I
work
bet.
retail, so I'm
Mhm.
definitely less free.
You're less free. Yeah. I will be traveling. I'm going home. I'm going home for the holidays to see my mom
Very nice.
and celebrate her. She had a very special birthday. I was not able to be in Ohio for it, but her birthday was the 11th, and she just celebrated the 1 year anniversary of her 49th birthday.
I know what that's like.
Yeah. So
My parents have celebrated that a couple times.
yeah. So happy belated birthday, mom. We'll be observing it on I think the 30th to a trip to our favorite bar
Oh, nice.
with friends and
I
family.
don't, I don't, my parents don't go to, I don't think my parents hardly drink. My mom has like that Arbor Mist wine in the cooler,
Oh,
in
okay.
the fridge, but my dad doesn't drink because he falls asleep.
Got it. Well, I mean, we're gonna be going to if anyone is in the Columbus area and wants to celebrate with me and my mom on December 30th, we'll be at Bob's Bar, the
Sounds like a
cultural hub.
treat.
Yeah, it's a Bob's Bar. It's the cultural hub of the Midwest. That is their tagline.
And is it?
Psh, yeah,
Does it prove to be the case?
it it is awesome. It is the like it is the platonic ideal of the good dive bar.
Okay, I can get behind
So,
that. There's actually a pretty good dive bar right around the corner from where I live.
oh,
I used to frequent it a lot more in college. I've only been in there once since we moved in.
and since I've moved to Richmond, like I had a not quite so divey bar, but a bar that I liked in Denver, and I got to know the bartenders there, and it was nice. And I moved to Richmond. I've been really busy. I haven't found one, so I was recommended a bar that I'm
So
gonna
no one
check.
there knows your favorite drink is a screwdriver.
It's good. It's a grasshopper.
Okay, I don't know
Or
what that is.
I don't know. My favorite drink. Oh, I don't know. If anyone wants to guess, I'll say what it is on the next one.
Okay.
If, like I've probably mentioned it on Twitter, so like people can find it if they look. But I do have a
It's the Three
specific
Wise Men.
favorite drink. It's a Shirley Temple. Not a Shirley Temple. I'm not giving that away. It is a whiskey drink. So that if anyone wants a hint. All right. Yeah, we were on hiatus. I'm sorry. That was my fault, guys. Sorry, team.
It's been a bouncing fault. It was my
Yes.
fault, and then it was your fault. Actually, it was probably both our faults. I had a crowded weekend last weekend too.
Right. I was very busy, and then I was traveling. I went to Ron's home, Chicago, for a little while, and now I'm back.
Chicago.
Chicago. I had deep dish pizza from Giordano's. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's like a place there that I don't know. Ron will be like, "That's you gotta go to like whatever, or something. Hole in the wall, blah blah blah."
Is Ron that guy, do you think?
I don't know.
I don't think he is.
I don't know. He's a guy. I don't know if he's that guy.
Ron had a question for us.
He had a question. It was random,
One of
but I
Ron's
liked
random
it.
questions. This is not one that like where did this come from? Like who makes popsicle sticks to put in popsicles?
Sure. This was a little more philosophical, a little more culturally relevant, I guess. Ron wants to know if, I guess, if we think,
No,
the
he's
internet,
asking.
or just generally, he wants to
True
know
or
the answer to this
false?
question. True or false? Is the it, he kind of phrased it like a debate question, like, be it resolved that,
Okay, so I've got to take one side.
yeah, I have to take the other. Is the internet dampening our generation? Or I guess probably not our generation,
He
like
said future generations.
future generations, probably like the kids. Is it dampening their sense of nostalgia? What do you think, Sean?
I think TV and everything else dampened it long before the internet came along.
Yeah, the thing that I thought of was Randall Munroe, the author, comic, whatever, the guy who does XKCD.
hmm
Um, I have an XKCD for everything, so
Yeah, you do. I know.
so I have one for this, obviously.
I really
Is
got
one
to
of the
set that as my homepage so that I start paying attention to it.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Okay.
Um, one of his most recent ones was a stacked bar graph of Christmas holiday themed songs and what decade they came out, but it is the Christmas songs that are playing most frequently today and when they were
Oh,
first, yeah, when they debuted. And an alarming amount of them are from the 1950s and a little bit from the late 1940s and a little bit from the early 1960s. And his observation, which is really, really true, I think not just for all the holidays, but for everything, is that the we are defined by the baby boomers. And any like his witty comment was anything like tradition and nostalgia in America is anything that happened to a baby boomer twice. Which is so true. Like, if you think about, like, what's the perfect holiday? It's like, the tree and the meal and the songs and, like, a train going around the tree.
I kind of talked about that on that little video I did about Christmas movies, because the very first thing I said was, like, I can't watch the 60s and 70s Christmas movies anymore because I just can't. I've seen them so many times when I was a kid, and I just can't watch them anymore.
Right.
They're no fun.
I agree. Like, I love It's a Wonderful Life, but it's on every year. And the reason it's on every year is because, like, yes, that was the perfect time. Like, it's a perfect recollection of America, and that is like
exactly the way it was.
Right, exactly, and it wasn't that way at all. And there was so much to not like about the 40s and the 50s and the 60s. Like, we idealized this group of people who, like, like 500,000 of them died, like thousands of miles away, fighting Nazi Germany. Like, that was not a good time. Like, it was a bad time. It was like the 50s and the 60s were not a great time in America's history. And yet we find that nostalgic, right? So I think that there was already a corrupting influence in, at least in American cultural history, of the baby boomer generation. And I actually I like the fact that the internet and mass communication has sort of allowed us to create our own nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I was thinking of is like, oh man, some kid in my office was saying like,
I want to know how old this person is if you're calling him a kid.
I'm like 16. So he was talking about the abbreviation WTF.
Uh-huh. Why the face?
What the face? What the frick, guys? And he was talking about, like, yeah, that's been around forever. Remember that video of I don't know what it's called, but like the end of the world video.
Yeah,
it was like
yeah.
It was like, in Australia says WTF, mate, and he was like, yeah, that's been around forever. That was from like all the way back in 2005.
That was from what, albino black sheep or something?
Yeah, he's like, that's been around forever.
It was before YouTube. It must be prehistoric times.
Exactly, something before you. Like I have like people around my age, your age, like we have some nostalgia about like GeoCities websites, which really weren't that long ago.
Right.
Right. So yeah,
hardly 20 years ago.
Right. And I guess I sort of disagree with the premise of Ron's question. I think that we can be nostalgic about whatever, and I'm glad that some of us are able to break away from the whole, like, if it's not a Norman Rockwell painting, it's not real tradition. So anyway, that's my thought.
He also asked what the strangest outfit we've ever worn is.
What's strange? I'm thinking. I think I got one. What's yours?
I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know. Oh, no, I do know. I totally know. Okay, back in the day when I was like an influential person in my church and I wanted to help the youth and blah, 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 I was asked by one of the pastors to participate in this little presentation. I don't even really remember the premise, but it involved me being inside an eagle mascot costume.
Whoa.
And some old guy at my church, who's a really cool dude, did my voice while I mimed actions. It was like an interview with Eddie the Eagle, and he was like some kind of courageous something or other. and I had to wear this thing. I think I ended up wearing it 3 times for rehearsal, dress rehearsal, and the actual event. And
Wow.
boy, if you've ever sat inside one of those mascot outfits, there is a smell, and I can still smell it right now. Just thinking about it, and it was over 10 years ago, and I can still smell it.
The funk of 50,000 years.
The funk of 50 people being inside that. You can't wash the inside of that thing.
Right, of course.
That's definitely the weirdest thing I've ever worn.
I did a lot of plays, so I've worn a lot of costumes that are not like normal attire. I wore a fat suit, or kind of like a fat suit once.
Yeah.
That's probably the strangest thing I wore. Yeah.
When you were playing the Clumps.
I was playing the Clumps, yeah. I was what was his name? Elijah something. He is the boss in Anything Goes.
Okay.
I don't know. That's probably the strangest thing I've ever worn. Sorry, you had a much better thing. I'm glad you went for it.
I don't even know where that came from. I saw that question days ago when he posted, and I couldn't think of anything. And then all of a sudden, boom.
It's the inspiration of, I don't know.
Elijah
podcasting.
Whitney, by the way.
Elijah Whitney, that's right.
Boom.
That's right.
Cole Porter knowledge.
Cole Porter, Elijah Whitney. I was Elijah Whitney. Eli Lake. Or whatever. I don't know. That was a long time ago. So
we're a month behind on American Horror Story.
we are a month exactly behind. We're 4 episodes behind on American Horror Story. So Shawn has hopefully been posting some videos sort of recapping some of the action, which you should check out.
Yeah,
which
if you're watching this show vicariously through us and you're not actually watching it and you want to catch up on plot of episode 8 and 9, go to 5 Things News channel and you can see Rubberman and Spooky Little Girl as recounted by me.
Right. I'm sure they're awesome. I finished
Spooky
watching
Little Girl went on for 17 minutes.
Oh, God. I'll have to check that out.
Apparently I had a lot to say.
Yeah. We're not going to focus much on those 2 episodes, which is unfortunate because they were great. You know, we'll talk about them a little bit, but we're going to talk more about the most current 2 episodes, Smoldering Children and Birth.
Birth.
Wow.
Birth is the first one that was written by Tim Minear. Tim Minear has shown up. Oh no, it's the second one. He's been a consulting producer for the whole series. Tim Minear is the co-producer with Joss Whedon of Firefly, the series, and he's actually worked with Joss Whedon since Buffy.
A lot of connections. This
I'm
show.
very happy to see him. One of his other producers, Marty Nixon, is actually working on Glee, another Ryan Murphy project. They just I don't know, they just pass all his producers around.
Yeah, they're taking over the world. So yeah, sorry everybody that we missed so many of these, so that Shawn had to actually go and record videos. But you should watch those. I couldn't because I just caught up today, but I will watch those.
Yeah, you got to do a marathon.
I did a marathon.
I can't imagine how depressed you are right now.
I have feelings. I got a lot of feelings inside, Shawn. Yeah, so we're just gonna have a conversation, I think. So the main topic of the show is American Horror Story, and I was tweeting with Ron. He tweeted me cryptically like a week or more ago, let me know when you've caught up on American Horror Story. I have something I want to say to you about it. And I'm like, okay, fine. And I feel bad that I kind of let him down and made him wait a long time. But we were tweeting back and forth this morning, and he had the comment, I like everything that's happened so far, but where is this show going?
That's a great question. And
that I think is the main topic, or the frame under which we'll discuss American Horror Story today. If it's at all possible, sometime during the holidays, because the next show, Afterbirth, cleverly titled Afterbirth, it is titled that is the season finale.
Yeah.
And it is gonna go. There's 13 episodes ordered for season 2. They might order more. It's one of the most popular shows on FX. So I wouldn't mind sometime over the holidays maybe having a discussion. Maybe we could finally get that get Alicia on.
Yeah.
Some other folks. Alicia, maybe Ron wants to join in. Have a little group conversation about American Horror Story.
Totally. I like that idea.
Yeah, me too. No promises, obviously, because I'll end up I've got to fly to Alaska, and Sean's whatever. Sean's opening up a
I've been
haberdashery.
promoted to general manager, and
Yeah, yeah,
I have to
who knows?
work a 70-hour week.
Yeah. So, uh, let's talk briefly about Rubber Man and Spooky Little Girl. What did you think about those episodes? I know they were a long time ago.
I was I was very confused that I was surprised and confused that Tate really did turn out to be the rubber man who raped Vivian.
Yeah, he totally raped Vivian. He is a bad dude.
I is he a bad dude? He's actually become he's become one of my favorite characters now.
By like, so obviously my not my favorite character, but like in a different category that can't be touched is Constance.
Of course.
Because she's amazing. She just comes in and oh God, what was it? Spooky Little Girl. She wasn't in at all, and I was like, where? Um, but my favorite non-Constance character is Violet, definitely.
Mine
Um,
too, which is why okay, well we'll get there.
definitely Violet. I have by the end of Birth, I have very little sympathy for Tate. Uh,
I'm not
and
sympathetic towards him. I think his motivations are extremely interesting because he doesn't seem aware that he's a bad person.
right, but he is.
But he is. And he's constantly doing bad things for the wrong reasons, but he thinks that they're the right thing to do, and I find it very interesting. An interesting character.
Yeah. I agreed. Agreed.
Also, I don't know the actor who plays him from anything, so it's nice to get it's not someone who I'm familiar with their work and I'm just assessing them playing this character. I have no idea who this kid is, so to me he's just Tate.
He's just Tate. He'll always be Tate. That could haunt him. If he if he wants to go on and do other things.
Yeah, you think so?
Um, yeah. What the kid's name is Evan Peters, but yeah, I've never seen him in anything. I was confused that it was Tate as the Rubber Man, I guess.
Yeah, that was my overwhelming feeling.
I was like, really, really, it's Tate. But I felt like, and it comes sort of in the middle of the season arc and after the Halloween episodes specifically. Uh, I thought that they're filling in a lot of stuff that we don't know about, and they're kind of setting up this second half of the show. And I guess it makes some sort of sideways sense to me that he's the Rubber Man, and that he is. I mean, he's totally got mommy issues, which gets fleshed out in even further in Birth,
Hmm.
in the opening of Birth. Uh, but it's like Nora is becoming a much more potent, powerful presence in the house, especially now that she is basically in league with Hayden. Um,
I love Nora.
Nora's great,
I love
although
that she's like the perfect ghost. Like she just can't progress or she can't seem to remember things that people tell her, even though the other ghosts can.
yeah, she's. I am very suspicious of Nora because she was like totally together with it in charge as a human living person,
Yeah.
and now she just cries constantly. I'm not convinced that it's not an act.
I guess I'm not either. But
You know,
the way that she acts, I just that's a cool haunting ghost. Like the sad ghost who's always looking for her baby
right?
is a fun idea.
Yeah. Well, let's just like obviously spoilers throughout this entire podcast. There's no way we can not spoil all of this. Uh,
It's kind of the point.
yeah, it's kind of the point, guys and gals. I'm gonna just start talking about Birth a little bit because I think that stuff that happened in this episode connects with stuff that happens in Birth a lot. Uh, so Nora seems to not remember things, but I think that she's either lying or she's intentionally misremembering things because in Birth, we have the cold open of like Little Man Tate in the
Yes, which I
80s.
think is have we seen him before? The little kid version of Tate?
No, it was in like 1984.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes down to the basement and he gets attacked by what is now confirmed to be the Harmon's Frankenstein baby Thaddeus.
Right.
And Nora comes down there and she's like, "Oh no, all you have to do is close your eyes and say, 'Go away.' He'll go away. I'll protect you." And he's like, "I wish you were my mom." And it was touching and whatever. And then we come to back to the present, and Tate comes to the basement and Nora's down there crying. And she's like, "Who are you? I don't know who you are." And he's like, "I'm Tate." And he repeats something she said to him. And she was like, "You were supposed to get me a baby." Like, she clearly remembers that, like, like,
I think you're right. I think it is purposeful misremembering.
yeah.
Tate seems to do that to himself too. He deliberately forgets or changes his memory so that he doesn't remember.
Yeah, so does Ben. In one of these episodes, Ben calls Violet Viv, which is weird. We can get there. I'm becoming really, really, really suspicious of Ben. That not that he's dead, but that he is suppressed. Like, they've changed the way people have died a lot in this. Like, how many times have we gotten, like, Larry has 3 different versions of his death, right?
Right.
There's the, like, I killed my family, there's the my family killed themselves, and then there's the Tate set me on fire at work version. So, like, who's to say Violet killed herself? Who's to say that Ben didn't kill her?
Oh my god, I hate you for putting these things in my head.
Who's to say that, I don't know. Like, I just get this weird vibe between him and Violet.
So by the way, Violet's dead.
Yep, Violet's totally dead.
They did an excellent job. The reason that I didn't even think of it until you mentioned it, whatever, a month ago, is because they did such a good job of not even hinting at it.
Yeah, they started hinting at it in Spooky Little Girl. The whole, like, you haven't been at school in 2 weeks.
Yes, and at that, as soon as that started happening, I mean, I was like, oh shoot.
Ah, fiddlesticks.
I was like, Carter's right.
Sorry.
And of course I didn't want her to be dead because she is my favorite character.
Yeah, she's the most grounded.
Not that that matters at this point, because if you die, you don't go away.
Don't go away, right? Well, as long as you die in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, was it Rubber? Yeah, in Rubber Man. This is the one thing I want to hit on before we, like, unless you want to talk about anything else about that episode specifically, is that I thought I was a little not confused, but I'll just say confused by how quickly Viv has descended into, being unhinged and crazy. Like, it seems like in all the episodes before this, she was also like, no, this is the way it's going to go down.
Yeah,
this is what we're doing.
You and I pointed this out, that she was the rational, put-together character.
And now she's like, I think I'm going insane. I'm hearing voices. I don't know what's going on. It could be now.
Maybe it's the house. Maybe it's all the control of the house.
Could be the house. Could be the babies.
Yeah, she does have, like, demon spawn inside her.
She has demon spawn. Yeah, so she's crazy. If you haven't watched Shawn's thing, Hayden is, like, the super quick, like, summation of Rubber Man. Hayden and Nora want the babies, and they have teamed up to try to drive Vivian crazy. And Violet is actually in on it because she thinks she's protecting Tate by claiming that things that are happening that ghosts are doing to Viv, she lies and says they're not happening, and Ben gets her committed because she shoots him.
Yeah, that was kind of a bad move on her part. If she was feeling that shaken up, should she have gone to bed with a gun? Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah, and then obviously Tate is the Rubber Man. We know that he's in love with Violet, so there may be some confrontation between the two of them, considering the fact that he raped Violet's mom, and one of the babies is his.
I do love the way Hayden tortures Vivian. Every so often the show just does feel like kind of like a horror movie, and when Hayden is torturing her, she's just basically a poltergeist, like doing all the typical parlor tricks of things moving around the room and doors slamming and lights flicking, and that was fun.
Right. Yeah. Now, that episode was also a lot about, like, women and the role of women. And one thing that I just want to like put a marker on is Hayden unlearned the rules of the house and is using them really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
She died just like probably months ago at this point, and there are ghosts. The only ghost who seems more powerful than her is Moira, or at least able to like be in control.
Yeah.
And ugh, God, we've been talking about this show forever, and we never really explicitly talked about this. But I'm gonna give a hat tip to Ron for pointing this out. She seems to be the only ghost who also has the ability to like isn't it interesting that she has the ability to change her appearance and none of like she died
Right.
at when she was young, but she also looks old.
Yeah.
So, like all the other ghosts, except for Thaddeus, although I want to talk about that, all the other ghosts are like they look the way that when they died.
Yeah. Hayden can appear the way that she looked when she died, like with a broken nose and stuff, but then other times she can look perfectly fine.
Yeah, she can look normal. Um, so yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about Rubber Man. Spooky little girl. Oh man.
Oh man.
Oh man. I was just like I don't want to be spoiled for these. I don't even watch the promos.
Yeah, I don't
And
either. I hate promos. They're awful.
yeah,
They're like trailers for movies that ruin movies.
yeah, I know. You wanna see how to do a great trailer for a movie. The teaser trailer for the American version of Girl with the Dragon Tattoo was great.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
And it made me want to see it, and I don't know the story. I haven't seen the Swedish versions. I haven't read the books. And I was like, "Ooh, this seems so interesting. I really want to see it," but I don't know anything about it.
I can't wait to see it because I didn't like the Swedish versions so much that I didn't even finish watching them.
Wow.
Which is
Well,
weird because they were like critically they loved them. I hate the main character. I think that he's not. Never mind. We're going off topic.
we'll probably talk about it because I'm sure Sean and I will both see that over the holidays.
Yep,
Um,
definitely.
I have plans to. And come on, David Fincher, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I
anyway,
read that he said he wouldn't be surprised if this is not nominated for Best Picture because most movies nominated for Best Picture don't involve anal rape. So just so you know, kids, that movie's rated R, which is why I didn't mention it on Five Things.
wasn't Seven nominated for a Best Picture?
I don't know.
I think it was.
Googling.
I think it was. That's also a kids. That's also a David Fincher movie. That involves lots of weird, twisted, sexual, and
And no,
we have.
no, it was not.
Damn, it should have been. Whatever. I can think of another example. I bet. Shawshank Redemption.
Well, okay. Well, you went on that one.
I kind of went on a technicality. Anyway, back to the American Horror Story. We got way off on that one. Yeah, I don't watch promos. I didn't know what to expect, and boom, we're in 1947. And who is in the house but one of my favorite Aaron Sorkin alums, Josh Malina?
I know. I saw that he was coming up, and I thought he was going to be the Rubber Man. When I read that, like it was going to be someone who we had not seen in the suit yet, and then I saw that Josh Malina was going to be on soon. I was like, oh, well, maybe he's the Rubber Man. But no, he's just a dentist.
Did they say it would not? It would be someone we haven't seen in the suit yet?
That is what EW told me.
EW was they either had bad intel on that or like someone lied to them because Tate was in the suit.
Yes, you're right.
He like
Someone lied.
He was down in the basement with Violet. I forget what episode that was, but he wore the suit. So what was I gonna say? I don't
Josh
even know.
Malina's
Josh
a
Malina, man.
dentist.
Love it. Love it.
And then
So yeah.
urban legends get pulled in.
Yeah, they do the Black Dahlia story here. Cute girl. Who played her? Who played Elizabeth?
Elizabeth Short is played by Mena Suvari.
Cute girl.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen her in things, but I don't really.
She was on 6 Feet Under.
Yeah.
Oh, she was in American Beauty.
She was a cheerleader in American Beauty.
Yep.
I didn't recognize her because she didn't have blonde hair. And I guess she's a little bit older. So yeah, Josh Malina totally rapes the cheerleader from a lot of rape in this show. God.
Well, it's a horror story.
It's a horror story, an American horror story. Yeah, he rapes her, and
accidentally kills her.
Accidentally kills her. Yeah, he seems upset that she died.
Definitely. I don't think he was intending to do that.
Right. And then the house is really like what's a good way to describe it? The ghosts and the things that the house does tend to conform to, or like they're shaped by what is like the real people are doing. So like, oh God, she's dead, and then it's like, hey, Dr. Montgomery's
Hey,
here.
here's Charles.
Right. It's like, oh great, you know.
You need a body removal? Here's Dr. Montgomery. He'll chop her up for you.
Yeah, and Josh Molina does seem. I liked how they did this in that Josh Molina is totally responsible for her death, and he was like a bad dentist, like the thing that you hope that no dentist would ever do, like put you under and to take advantage of you. But he is genuinely upset and disturbed, and then when he sees what Charles did to her body, like bisecting her and doing the Joker smile and whatever, like all the stuff he did, he is genuinely horrified, like by what he did. So
is Josh Molina's character dead? Have we seen him anywhere else or just in 1947?
We've only seen him in 47. I don't think he died in the house.
Maybe he does not die in the house.
Maybe he's not dead in the house.
It's just worth noting which characters do not survive to present in ghost form.
I tweeted this last night while I was doing the marathon of this. At some point, probably around the Halloween episodes, this show became more about the ghosts than about the living people.
It doesn't differentiate.
Yeah, by this point, and now
they're just characters.
Right, more and more people are becoming ghosts, so it's just like, yeah, this is all about the ghosts. It's like it used to be all about Harmons, and now it's like whatever, the Harmons are just here too.
We got to skip to the end of this episode so that we can move on.
Yeah, so this episode,
the big reveal at the end is the one that Ron was like, "What?"
I hated it.
Is it okay? So at the end of the episode, Sarah Paulson shows up again. She's the medium.
Who I love. I love her.
She's great. She's so great. Another Aaron Sorkin actress. She shows up and says and explains in a cutaway scene that I was like, really? They're doing this? She explains that basically she thinks that the baby's the Antichrist.
Yeah.
And it's the start of the apocalypse.
Well, it's not just that. It's that the cutaway is like, Constance is like, what happens if a spirit, fornicates with a living person? I love Constance. A whole episode about her. And Billy Dean, great name, is like, well, in the Vatican, we go to the Vatican.
Yeah, that was when I was like, what?
I hated it. Oh god. And I also tweeted this. There's no way. There is no way. I'm calling bull on that because the Croatoa thing doesn't work with Billy Dean. I think that she's basically like she can maybe do some things with ghosts, but she's basically like full of it. I think that this is a red herring. I don't think it has anything at all to do with the Antichrist.
Fine. At all. Yeah, that's fine with me.
I think that is a total red herring. I think that this show does that stuff a lot. Like the entire episode of Birth, like a huge part of the plot was a red herring that was meant to distract you. I just call bull on this mostly because I think it's stupid.
They're waiting for our reaction, and then they're going to decide whether they're going to move ahead with the Antichrist plotline or not.
Exactly.
I still don't understand why she didn't seem aware or concerned that Violet was a ghost the first time she met her.
Was Violet a ghost the first time she met her?
Yes.
It was after she took the pills?
I double-checked.
Okay, well, I will go back to my theory that I tweeted at you, that she summoned Violet because it was off property.
Okay.
Right? It was in Constance's house.
Yeah.
And I don't think you're allowed to. Well, in Smoldering Children, we find out that, yeah, no, you're totally not allowed to leave the property. You can't leave the property. It's like an Escher painting if you're a ghost.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Right. So, Smoldering Children, that's what I'm going to say there. That what happened there was Billy Dean probably brought Violet there.
Okay.
And I think Constance knew the whole time. Constance is pulling a lot of strings.
Yeah.
And in Birth, we can either save it for there or we can talk about these two episodes as like just kind of at the same time because I feel like I'll forget this if I don't say it. Constance didn't know that Tate impregnated Viv.
Nope.
And
she was perfectly fine with it though, right?
Right. So something
She's
she
like,
has.
sweet, I get a grandchild after all.
It's not only is it a baby, it's a grandchild. That's great. Um, but that calls into question. I guess Moira didn't know either, or she withheld that information from Constance because she's like a wild card as far as I'm concerned. She has her own motives. Um,
She really just wants to move on.
right.
Out
Uh,
of out of any of the ghosts, she clearly just wants to leave.
yes. Um, like kind of the opposite of Hayden. Their characters are very similar, like young, hot, not always young, hot women, but like young, hot, attractive women who have a lot of power over men. But Moira kind of, I think that that's one of the reasons why we see her old. She has, in some ways, like moved past that. She does have to use that sometimes, although in Smoldering Children, Ben finally sees her as old, which I thought was really interesting.
It was great.
Um, he had a very strange reaction to it, though, like, oh, that's weird. Not like, ew. Um, but yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why she's old because she's kind of like figured things out and
She's wizened.
She's wizened. She's a wizened lady, whereas Hayden is just completely at the beck and call. She's crazy, even as a ghost. She's insane,
Yep.
like
That's
Nora.
probably why she was a psych student.
Exactly. But the thing I wanted to note about Constance is that she's been feeding Viv brains, and she even in those early episodes was like, "We need that baby," or that we want to have a baby in this house. But she didn't know. It's like she obviously wanted a baby in the house for other reasons. What are those reasons? I have no idea.
It seems like everyone always wants a baby in that house. I think it's just a constant
Right.
theme.
Right. Exactly.
Every character is interested in getting new blood in there for some reason. And I'm just gonna skip around too. We get to see the gay couple, Zach Quinto and Chad and what's their name?
Chad and Patrick.
Patrick preparing the nursery for the arrival of the two babies, and they reveal that they're gonna wait till the babies are like a year and a half, and then they're gonna smother them to death so that they're always babies.
Well,
Which I thought was pretty cool.
any parents who are listening to this, obviously, I'm not a parent. Sean's not a parent.
I'm not.
But I'm gonna like psychoanalyze you, parents, a little bit. I bet all of them felt a little squeamish when they saw that because every parent wants their kid to stay that age forever.
Aww.
You know? I like talking to my mom. She's like, "Yeah, there's this time when you can't quite, you can say a couple words and you're so cute, and you just want them to be like that forever, where you're taking care of them, and all they do is just like look up in your eyes and they love you, and there's no like every parent wants that.
And in this house, that is a true possibility.
It is a possibility. Um, so, Smoldering Children. We start back in 1994 with Larry, who I can consistently call Frank.
Yeah. And they're having dinner, Tate and Constance and him.
Right. Tate hates him. Hates him.
Typical. Typical.
Well, he killed Bo. He smothered Bo with a pillow. Speaking of pillows and smothering. Yeah, he hates him, and a lot of these episodes, like Rubber Man, this one, have kind of like fleshed out stuff that we already know about. They've just given us like more information.
Mm-hmm.
In this, we get the additional information that before Tate went to shoot up his school, he he got high.
I really hope this really happened. I liked this scene.
He did cocaine, and
Little crystal meth.
some crystal meth, whatever,
Like a
on the side.
cocktail.
Cocktail, yeah. Remember, kids, you want to figure out what my cocktail is. Whiskey drink. Not a cocaine or a crystal meth drink. Yeah, he gets really high, and he, instead of going straight to the school, this was implausible. Brad and Ryan, I did not believe this. So I'm not sure if this actually happened or if it was just something that Tate wished happened. He goes to Larry's work and with a big red gas tank and douses him in gasoline and lights him on fire.
And then some awesome stunt guy got to do a pretty cool looking stunt on the show.
Yeah.
There were a lot of flames going on.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna say that, this is the third different way we've seen Larry get his scars. It's kind of like the Joker. How did I get my stars? You want to know how I got these scars thing, right? I'm not sure that actually happened.
It's
Maybe it
not
did.
important.
It's not important, but I think sometimes we see the things that the characters wished
Mm-hmm.
happened, or we see
Little
kind of,
flights of fancy.
yeah, we get aspirational uh montage stuff, like whatever, you know what I mean. So Viv is in the psych ward. She is not like she's not doing great, and the sort of the main thrust of this episode is uh the cops and Constance. Because
Travis is dead.
did that happen in this episode or the one
It
before?
happened at the very end of the last episode.
Hayden kills Travis,
Yeah.
which he's kind of fine with, because he's like, "Ooh, I'll be famous."
Right, because he's going to be the boy Dahlia.
The boy Dahlia.
Because Montgomery shows up and does his thing.
Right. Well, because Hayden, she has these moments of she's kind of like, she's like the anti-Viv, she's like really crazy, but sometimes she has like moments of like clarity. She's like, "Oh, I've made a huge mistake. They're gonna blame this on Ben. I'm not gonna be able to do all the stuff I wanted to do. We got to get rid of this body." And then Charles Montgomery, it's like, "Ooh, ether."
Where's my ether? Get my scalpel.
And he cuts them up, and they do that. And then some construction workers find him. No, people, some kids
Playing basketball.
Some guys playing basketball find him.
So the detectives show up to Constance's, and she's probably prime suspect one. And she's carrying around a big knife.
I don't understand why she's not under constant surveillance. It's like Tate,
her entire family is dead. Like, everyone involved in her life is dead.
One of the cops mentions that. They have a line like, people who are close to you tend to end up dead.
And not always by accident. Like, they know that people have gone missing or been murdered.
Yeah, exactly. Moira, her husband, I can't think of his name, like, and I think the cops also say, like, it's like, yeah, no one ever found those bodies.
Hugo.
That's a great name.
Yeah, I don't know any Hugos anymore. Any actors or anything.
Yeah, Hugo. Anyway, so while that's going on, we're on the bullet train to finding out for real that Violet is dead.
Yeah, Tate wants her to. Tate is probably known for. Actually, Tate's known since she did it, because he tried to.
Held her.
Yes, he actually did try and save her. As far as we know, we think that he tried to save her. But anyway, he in this episode, he tries to convince her to, quote, kill herself with him so that they can spend eternity together. And she just thinks that she knows that he knows he's a ghost, right?
Yeah, I think so, because he said, like, doesn't he have a little throwaway line, like, she's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" And he's like, "What?" Like, introducing myself, like,
yes.
Hi, I'm Tate. Hi, my name's Tate. I'm dead.
I'm dead.
Be a great way to open up a lot,
yeah. So I think she knows that he just wants her to kill herself so that he can spend his time with someone.
Right. So. Oh! I totally forgot about this. We find out what Moira did with Hugo's body. She ground it up and fed it to dogs.
That's right. I forgot.
It's kind of, yeah. She's a mean something.
She's cold.
She's cold and calculating. So Larry ends up just confessing to everything, because he has like this moment. Travis is playing with some kids in the basement. Dead Travis.
The smoldering children.
The said smoldering children. And it's, we've never seen them before. And Larry is like, "Hey, I've never seen them before." And then his wife shows up, and he's like, "Why have I never seen you before?" And she's something like, you weren't ready, or, you just couldn't.
He didn't deserve it.
Yeah. Like, and he knows that the only way that he can be right with his family is by having some sort of actual punishment. The fire was like apparently not punishment enough. So he confesses. He gets like the knife that Hayden uses and whatever, and he goes to the police and turns himself in, and he's in jail.
Yep.
I don't think it's the last we're gonna see of him, but
he's serving his penance.
Right. Constance was totally gonna go down for this, and she's talk about cold at the end at the little place where you can go to talk to people through a telephone out of jail. Is there a name for that?
I don't know. But we always see it in movies and TV.
That place. That's a random question right
Every
there.
time I've talked to people who have actually visited people in jail, it's like a room with tables and
Like in Arrested Development.
yes, just like that.
Yeah. A lot of parallels between this show and Arrested Development, but not in jail. um, Larry.
There's a banana stand and
That's crazy. Larry, asks constant like he says, I'm not doing this for you. This is about me, but I always loved you, and I know at some point you loved me, and I'll be able to make it through this if you say it. And he puts his hand up on the window, and she like starts to, and then she just like takes it away and like sets down the phone and walks off in her little Old Dominion Constance way.
and Larry just suffers in silence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, or that's the end of the episode. Meanwhile, they just love showing Dylan McDermott most like naked or mostly naked to give some space to commit suicide, even though they're both dead. Tate puts on the Rubberman suit. Ben's the only one in the house. He puts on the Rubberman suit and gets probably some of Montgomery's ether. I don't know. He's got some sort of chemical on like a
On a
towel,
rag, yeah.
whatever. And he puts on the Rubberman suit and attacks Ben and tries to make him pass out. And they get into it. Ben is he's no small guy. He actually can. That fight lasted a good minute.
Yeah. We like watching Taken fights.
Yeah, yeah. And also, I thought it was like the towel that he put on. Like, there's no way in real life that would have stayed on through all of that. He had a towel on, and that's his real. I think he realized that Viv was probably telling the truth because he saw the mask earlier in the episode, I think, and he was like, that shouldn't be here. What's going on? But then he's like, "You're a rapist. You raped my wife. You raped my wife," and beating him with like a lamp and all this stuff. So finally, Tate subdues him, and as Ben is passing out, he gets a hold of the mask and pulls it off, and he realizes it's Tate. Finds out it's Tate. So now Ben knows.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the point where I was just like, I had this moment in one of the early episodes, just like, this is crazy. What is happening? Like, there's so much stuff happening at this point. And then like, devastating scene. Tate takes Violet to see her corpse, and she just loses it.
Yeah, I think I did too, actually.
That
was one of those scenes that afterwards Alicia looked at me and goes, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm fine. I really liked Violet."
I know. She's just like, she's been dead for weeks. She's in a crawl
It's like I said earlier, she seems like she wants to be dark and she wants to be that kind of person, but when she finds out she's dead, she's not like, "Oh, sweet." She's devastated.
She's devastated. And actually, to your point, and you've mentioned that before, she actually has a line right before she cuts it off with Tate in Birth that I always thought that you were like me and you were interested by the darkness, but you are the darkness.
Yeah, and she doesn't want to be the darkness.
No, she doesn't want that in her life. So that's the big reveal of this episode. And now we're on the total falling action. Like we're like it. Like this baby is coming. And that is everything that happens in Birth. And Birth was probably the most significant episode that we've had so far, because we had there was something with babies in this house. Like Billie Dean comes over, and
now they completely reveal that she knows Violet is a ghost because they have this little like psychic conversation, which we've never heard that happen before.
Right. Birth opens, like we said, in 1984. We have that moment with Thaddeus, and there are two shibboleths or code words, whatever you want to call it, that can like affect people in the house that we're given. One is this stupid thing that Billy Dean says about like you gotta set one of their personal artifacts on fire and say Croatoa, like the Roanoke Lost Colony. Roanoke, which used to be in Virginia, where I live, but now it's in North Carolina. And then there's something that we've seen before, and that Violet knows. Go away. Close your eyes and say go away. Tate told her about that in Open House, I think, or one of the earlier episodes.
Yes.
The one where I thought that she was dead because she's starting to see all the ghosts, and he's like, "It's okay. If you ever want them to like stop messing with you and to get out of your, get out of your business, just close your eyes and say go away."
Most like, and I'm gonna use the word real loosely. Most like real ghost stories that you hear about, it seems like the general consensus is that you are able to get rid of spirits by wishing them away. So yeah. I'm fine with them explaining that you can actually do that in this house.
Right.
If you can see someone that you don't want to be there, you just tell them to go away, and they have to go away.
Exactly. Apparently, whether you're alive or you're dead. So, other like ghosts can. Maybe Violet has some sort of unique talent about this, but where Tate was armed with this information is from Nora, who in the 80s, apparently as a ghost, apparently was a lot more together than in the current time.
She's got like ups and downs.
Well, what I think about her is that, one, I think she's totally faking a lot of this, or that she's deluded. And two, the reason she wants a baby so badly is because that, like, grounds her. And that's why she was so with it when there was the little man Tate.
Okay,
I'll never stop calling him little man. Because he was, she could protect him. That's what she wants.
Yeah.
That's her motivation as a character. The thing I want to know about Thaddeus, who now we know for sure that the little creepy thing in the basement is Thaddeus, is... we don't know if she killed him or if he died when she committed suicide and killed Charles, right?
Right.
But he's big now. So did he keep living and die later? Or does he have some sort of Moira kind of thing going on where he died as a baby, but he now
appears as a bigger monster.
Right. And apparently he's a baby. And here's my question about Nora. And I think that it's not really a question, it's more of an observation. She wants a baby, and she wants her baby back, or she wants she's baby crazy, right? Clearly, like, her actual baby, Thaddeus, is in the basement, but she doesn't want that.
No.
So it's not that she wants her baby, she wants this ideal something else.
Yes.
The thing that she lost because of Charles and his indiscretions. And you never see them together as ghosts, too. So she clearly has, like, problems with Chuck.
Well, that's probably why she shot him in the head.
Oh, yeah. And then herself, too. So we find, like, Tate is talking with Nora, crazy Nora now, and basically tells her, like, hey, you know how I, like, raped that woman to make you a baby? You can't have it.
Sorry.
She's like, I'm going to have that baby. And he's like, no, it's like, you don't understand. I was doing this for you, but now I'm in love with this girl, and I can't, like, take her brother away from her. Right. Somehow he knows it's a boy.
We're just assuming.
Yeah, I don't know. He says it's a boy. Then I thought that they were hitting us over the head with the subtext of the whole, like, Constance not liking Chad and Patrick, the whole, like, gay thing.
All the slurs and everything.
Just hitting us over the head with that, and I didn't appreciate it, actually. I felt like it was very political, and I felt like I was being used as an audience member.
Tate was doing it for a while, too, until all of a sudden he tried to turn on the charm with Patrick and seduce him.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. But yeah, like, there is a funny line, but I'm like, bad, boo, Brad and Ryan, boo. There was this whole, like, Billy Dean goes through this whole, like, the paramagnetic whatever of the house. It's clearly making stuff
physics.
Up. That's physics.
It's all about the physics.
She has, like, a long explanation of, like, how, like, evil and its magnetism, and then Constance is finally like, that's all well and good, but how do we get rid of the gays?
I loved that.
So Violet knows that they're planning on taking her mom's babies, and she wants to find a way to make them go away, forgetting that she can just tell them.
Well, she wants them gone.
She wants them gone, but she could just be like, go away. She could, like, there are other tactics she could employ here. She's not thinking critically.
Sure.
And this is a red herring. I while this was happening, this whole Chad and Patrick thing. This is a red herring. Like they're not the ones we should be worried about. We should be worried about Nora and Hayden. Hayden has made it clear that she is in league with Nora and wants to split the babies between the two of them, and she is a lot more powerful than Chad and Patrick. Not only because she like seems to understand the rules better than anyone, but also because she has personal connections to the Harmons that none of the rest of the ghosts have.
Yeah.
You know, she's got cachet with them. Um, so I'm just like, no, they're distracting you, Nora, Hayden. You need to be worried about them. And hey, guess what? They did need to be worried about them. So she follows Billie Dean's advice and tries to like burn a ring and a watch of Chad and Patrick's.
Which does summon him, I noticed. Like,
yeah, he's there.
They said in the old story, like when they burnt their totems, it summoned the ghosts, and that at least that part worked.
Right. And then, well, what Chad is doing, what Zachary Quinto is doing, he broke the cribs apart and is throwing them into the furnace. And you know, Violet sort of dramatically and theatrically screams Croatoa, and Zachary Quinto does this great like pretend like fake
He's
out.
like, oh no,
I'm dying.
just kidding.
Just kidding. You can't do that. And the reason why he's taking the beds apart is because they now know they're clear like, oh yeah, someone else is gonna get those like
It's not someone's gonna get them, and it's not gonna be us.
right. So Viv gets released from the mental institution that she's in, and she wants to have the babies in Florida with her sister.
Yeah, they're gonna flee.
And they want Violet, and this was weird. Ben tries to get Violet out of the house, and she's like, I can't go, I don't want to go, and then finally she's like, Dad, I'm dead. And he was just like,
he's like,
oh,
what are you talking about? You're high.
Yeah, he's like, you're high. What drugs are you on? And then I think he actually does realize that she's dead, but he doesn't.
How do you believe that? How do you? He's clearly not at the stage yet where he's ready to believe in the ghosts and everything.
Well,
until the end of the episode.
Until the end of the episode, and let's talk about the end of the episode because we're basically
there.
We
got to run there.
I think that a lot of the stuff that happened in the beginning of the series with Ben was to prepare him for what had to happen in this episode, both as a character and just like so he has the tools he needs to do what he needs to do.
Mm-hmm.
And they give us a clue. He's like kind of wandering around the hallways, and it's like Constance is like, we're having this baby, and he's like, I don't know what to do, what's happening. And Constance comes up to him just like in the first episode, and he's having flashbacks about the fires he was like fascinated with, and she's like, you have to be here for your wife, and you need to help bring these babies into the world. And he's like, he's kind of almost in a trance. He's like, yes, I'll do that.
Jedi mind tricks.
So he sits with Constance, I'm doing it again, with Viv. And when he enters the room, I think he says the words, this isn't right, because it's Montgomery.
It's Ghost Town, USA.
It's Ghost Town, USA. It's Montgomery. It's the nurse and the nursing student from Home Invasion, and they're there helping Vivian, who is like, what's happening? Why are these people? Who are these people? And Constance says, the house is helping you right now. You need to...
That's what it does.
Yeah, it's helping you. You need to work with us. And I'm convinced I think Constance is a witch, by the way, but that's something separate.
Nice.
I think she's a witch, or she has some sort of like powers. I think either her or the house was like making Ben remember Violet's birth so that he would be like present with Viv and like be there for her so that she would get through this. And
I thought that was especially poignant.
It was touching.
The flashes between the horrific ghost birth of demon spawn and the full like I love you birth of Violet.
Right, in the like big white room, in the way that
the
you
sterile
think that
hospital environment. Yeah.
So I tweeted this when it was happening because I obviously I didn't have this revelation episodes before, but I'm like, Viv is bleeding a lot.
Yeah, this is not good.
I'm like, she's gonna die. She's gonna die in that house. And She gives birth to two. She does give birth to two babies.
Another scene that Alicia was like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah. Oh, it's really sad. She gives birth to two babies. Charles says that the first one is stillborn. Bull.
It is
I call
swept
crap.
away from us way before we can see anything, and she hands it to who?
Nora,
She hands it to Nora.
who is like, Now,
Baby.
so I think one, either it's still alive, or two, Nora feels guilty for having uh some sort of like sick sense of guilt over abandoning Thaddeus even after Charles brought Thaddeus back to life. Either, and if that's the case, she's going to let Charles do his thing to the stillborn baby and love it like she should have loved Thaddeus.
Or maybe it is, maybe now it's a ghost fetus.
Yeah, it died in the house.
It died in the house.
It died in the house. It's a ghost fetus. Well, what? I don't know. Well, like, whatever. I don't know. There's a lot of, like, I'm very, everybody is.
There's no way it's dead.
No way it's dead. Or if it's dead, like, that is not the end of that baby.
Nope.
Then we have the second baby. Now, like, one thing, like, we don't know
The
which one is.
Antichrist, you mean?
Well, we don't know which one is which. We assume that the second one
That the bigger one is the healthier one?
Yeah, or that the bigger one is the demon
The
one.
bad one, yeah.
The Tate one. But anyway, she has the second one, which is bigger, and she likes. Oh my god, she should get like some sort of award for like screaming and crying.
Yeah.
You know,
Birth
she was.
reenactment.
It was. That was tough to watch. Like the Tracy Jordan film, tough to watch. And she says, like, I feel like it's ripping me apart. So she gives birth to that baby. It cries. We hear it cry. We know it's alive. Constance takes it. She indicates that it's her grandson.
Yeah.
Because she's like looking at it, no googly eyes, I love you. But maybe it's not.
It must have like a big tuft of blonde hair or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Patrick or Chad says, you know, when we find out that Tate, Moira or someone says that Tate was, you know, raped Vivian to one of them, and he's like, oh, a blonde and a brunette, just like us. It'll be great.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Constance takes the baby to clean it up, and she sort of indicates that she'll bring it back, but we don't know. And then that's when, like, things start to go awry because Viv keeps bleeding.
Yeah, she's hemorrhaging, and that's the beginning of the end.
Yeah, and then there is I would call it a fight, but it was very subdued between Ben and Violet. Ben is saying, like, because they're both just like, they're making arguments to Viv, basically, but you should watch it. I'm not describing it very well because Ben is like, no, stay here, listen to my words, focus on what I'm saying.
I don't know if Ben was even aware that Violet was there because they kept flashing to different angles where Violet would not be standing there.
Right.
And then they would flash to another angle where she was there and she would be pleading to Viv to come join her.
Right. So
be ghost mom.
Right. So they have they have this fight with Viv, and Viv chooses Violet.
Well, I'm not even positive she had a choice.
Well, yeah, I mean, whatever. She was bleeding to death. She dies.
And as soon as it cuts to Violet in her bedroom, and Alicia is like, so when's Vivian gonna show up? And I said, right now. And then her hand appeared on Violet's shoulder, and I was like, yep.
Yeah, Violet has it out with Tate. She remembers her training, young Jedi.
Go away.
Go away. Tate is like, no, you don't understand. I've changed. I was a different person then. And Violet's like, I agree with you, and I love you, but I can't forgive you. You raped my mom. Like,
amongst other things.
You're a bad person, Tate. You know, and Tate is a bad person. And he is trying to misremember his own life, and, you know, it's no good. And something's going to happen with him. Probably in the next episode, because Violet tells him to go away, and he's like, you can't do this to me. I love you. And she's like, nope, go away, and he does. And then Viv shows up. And she has the telling line, you know, Violet's like, I'm sorry you had to die, and I'm sorry you lost your baby. Well, Viv says, I didn't lose my baby. Now,
tear.
She could be saying, you're my baby and I have you and we're together. She could also be saying, I didn't lose my baby. It's alive. Right. Like, the stillborn baby is not stillborn, which she would probably know if she was a ghost. Also, she's got to be having some weird thoughts right now. She probably doesn't know that she's a ghost,
I'm not
because
sure. I think she might know.
maybe she knows
In
sort
that
of
little
like
conversation she had with Violet, I kind of got the impression that she already knew.
she might know theoretically that she's a ghost, kind of like,
She definitely knows about the ghosts in the house and what happens when people die.
yes, she knows that now. But everyone has said like ghosts can't remember how they died, and she just died.
Right. You're right.
So all
You're right.
all all she remembers is like I was having a baby and now I'm with Violet.
I think the thing I'm most excited about in the finale next week is Violet and Vivian
Mm-hmm.
and what their
Well,
resolve is before the end of the season.
yes, because I've been waiting for this. In like previous discussions about this, we've talked about like motives, and I've been like, I don't understand who's on what side. Now I do. They've been getting there. There's Nora, Hayden, they're a team. There's Violet and Vivian, they're a team, and there's Constance and her crew, they're a team.
Yeah.
They all want the babies. They all have reasons for wanting the babies. I have no idea why Constance wants the baby, but we'll talk about this next week. But I think she's a witch, and that is probably why.
Oh my god.
Violet and Vivian want the babies because they're their sons and daughters and sisters and brothers.
Right.
And Aiden and Nora want the babies because they're insane. And they just want the babies. And the only live person left is Ben. And I think that there's one more revelation coming. And I think that, they've hinted about similarities between Ben and Tate.
Yeah.
He's like, I have some things in my past too. There's one way that this could end, and if it ends this way, I'm just gonna I won't watch the second season. If it ends this way, I'll be pissed. This could all be going through Ben's head as he bleeds to death after having his affair with Hayden, and he didn't act like a Sixth Sense ending. Like he didn't actually just get cut; he got stabbed by Vivian, and this is all like Jacob's Ladder playing through his head.
Well, now you just ruined Jacob's Ladder.
Whatever. Two.
Our audience isn't old enough to watch it anyway.
Right. They'll be like, "What? I don't get it." It's an old movie, kids. You should watch it. It's great. If you like Silent Hill, you'll watch Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah.
If they do that, I'll be really pissed because that's.
I can't imagine that they would do that.
Right. Okay. So the other thing that I think it might be coming is that we will find some of those things that happened in Ben's past, and I don't want to pin it down on anything, but I think that he may be more responsible for stuff that's happened in the house than he thinks or remembers.
Okay, for instance, if he might have murdered his own daughter.
I think he killed him. Killed her, or he was responsible because ghosts can't remember their death, right? So, Violet, how could she remember that she died from pills? None of the ghosts seem to either be able to remember or to accept the way that they died.
Totally.
Even Nora, it's like Hayden is like, "You're dead, girl," and she's like, "How? No, I'm not dead. That's crazy." And she's like, "Feel this thing on the back of your head," and she's like, "What is that?" She's like, "I think it's an exit wound," and she's still like, "I want a baby. I don't understand. What is this magical stuff in the house? I didn't choose this." So, I don't know. I don't think he's dead.
I don't think he is either.
Well, he can't be dead. He's left the house.
That's right.
Oh, man, a lot of stuff, man. Complicated. Season finale. I'm excited. We will not miss that. We will. I mean,
I would love to get a group together. So.
Yeah.
Ron, let's do it.
Ron. You gotta get on. You gotta jump on board because I want to hear his thoughts.
But now I'm gonna switch gears entirely and go see a funny movie called Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, I spoiled Shawn on Sherlock Holmes. Big spoiler alert, kids.
Just say it.
No. Can I say the
say
word?
It.
At no point during this movie does a character say "no Sherlock."
Isn't that awful?
It's terrible.
It's heresy.
It's terrible. God. Well, anyway, I am not today, but tomorrow I'm going to see Mission Impossible 4.
I'm excited. I'm so excited to see it.
Super excited for it. Did you see the stuff about Tom Cruise, like how they filmed the skyscraper stuff?
Nope. I don't want to know anything.
I didn't watch it, but I saw apparently it was pretty real.
Cool.
Yeah.
Figures.
Wow.
That's what he does.
Totally.
He's
So
like,
I'm
can I
excited.
do this stunt hundreds of feet over the nothing?
Let's just do it.
Go for it.
Go for it. So,
We will have a special little Christmas episode next week for sure, and we'll work out some kind of American Horror Story wrap up.
yeah, we even if it's only like 10 or 20 minutes with no follow up, no question. I know we will want to talk about the season finale just as an episode. But yeah, definitely we will try to get together a discussion, a round table discussion on American Horror Story.
Yay!
Yay! This was a packed episode, man, and we brought it. Is it under an hour?
Nope.
Oh well. Oh well.
First saved message. So my explanation of my text message is, yes, I agree everything that you said so far. Can you do the summary of the next American Horror Story on YouTube, and then we'll cover the final one on the podcast? And hey, having watched all of the American Horror Stories, remember when I said that I'm pretty sure that Violet is dead? She's dead. And they told us that. I called it. Okay, I'll talk to you soon, man.